Hello and welcome to this tutorial for users of Microsoft Word 2016 for the Mac. And as you can see from the title here, this tutorial is concerned with getting started with Microsoft Word. And first of all, I'm actually going to close the program. So I'm just going to go up to the Word menu, click on that and click on Quit Word. And if I come over to the right side of my Mac window, you'll see the Word icon there, the shortcut to Microsoft Word. If I just double click, you'll see that the first thing we get is a dialog box offering us a range of templates, and I'm simply going to select blank document first of all. So you can either click on that and then down at the bottom right click create, or you can double click with the mouse. If I double click, that will open Word with a blank document. Now if you don't want to see that template window at startup, what you need to do is go to the Word menu, top left, and come to Preferences, and then click on General in the dialog box and just take the check out of Show Word Document Gallery when opening Word. So if I take the tick out of that box, close the dialog, next time I start Word I will come straight into a blank document. If you need to create a new document from within Word, simply go to the File menu and choose New Document, the very first option there. So if I click on that, you'll see I now have a second document open. I don't want this one, so I'm going to close it down by clicking the close button there on the left. So now I'm going to create my first document, and you'll see there at the top left of the blank page, that flashing vertical black bar. That's the insertion point or the cursor, and basically that is exactly where, when I start to type, the text will appear. So the first thing I'm going to type is the title for my document, and that's going to be Fred's Movie Classics. And you'll see there that I've capitalized each word. Now to get a single capital letter, you simply press the Shift key on the keyboard with whichever letter you want to capitalize, release the Shift key and then carry on typing. If you want your title to be all capitals, you need to use the caps lock. So if I just press the space bar and this time press the caps lock key, and I'll type the title out again, but this time all capitals, as you can see. Now I don't want that additional title, so I'm going to use the backspace key on the keyboard, and the backspace is a great way of simply correcting any mistakes as you type. So as I press the backspace key or the back delete key, you'll see there the text is removed and the cursor moves back towards the left. Now before I carry on, I'm going to make sure that I switch off the caps lock key so I don't continue to type in capitals. I'm going to press the enter key, and pressing the enter key creates a new line in Word. Now I want a blank line between my first line and my secondary title, so I'm going to press the enter key again and now type out my second line, which is plans for improving the business. So that's one way you can create space between lines of text. Simply use the enter key as you've seen there. So now I've got my title and subtitle. Again, I'll press the enter key for a new line, press the enter key again, and the next thing I'm typing is my greeting, and in this case it's quite a simple one, which is hello everyone. And I'm going to add an exclamation point at the end of that line, and to do that on the keyboard you type Shift and the number 1. I'm then going to press the enter key again and one more time, and now I'm ready to type my first paragraph, and I'll type the first line. I'm now approaching the end of the first line, and as I type the next word, what you will see as I type films, and you see there that Microsoft Word moves that word to the next line automatically, so the word isn't split between the end of the line and the beginning of the next line. And this is something that's quite important, that you do allow Word to automatically move the text to a new line as you type, rather than have you force a new line by pressing the enter key. So I'm going to go on now and type the rest of this paragraph. So I've completed my first paragraph, and I can now press the enter key once to create a new line, press the enter key again to create space between the first and second paragraph, and now I can begin to type my second paragraph. Now before I go on and complete this paragraph, there's a couple of things I want to show you. First of all, in the toolbar area, you'll see I'm on the Home tab at the moment and the different sections on the toolbar, but there are no labels for each section. I want to switch those on. So what you need to do if you don't see your section labels is go to the Word menu and choose Preferences, and in the Word Preferences dialog click on View, and down at the bottom right there you'll see there's an option that says Show Group Titles. If I tick on that, and then close that dialog, you'll see now I have my labels for each section on the toolbar. Next I'm going to come to the paragraph section, and the top right of that section you'll see a button here. Now if I put the mouse pointer over that, you'll see the tooltip appear, say show all non-printing characters. If I click on that, you'll see these additional characters appear on the page. Now the character that looks like a reverse letter P, that is a paragraph marker. So every time you press the enter key, you create one of these markers. And Microsoft Word uses these paragraph markers to obviously find the beginning and end of a paragraph, and that's useful for formatting purposes, as you will see in a future tutorial. You'll also see the dots there between the words, and the dot simply indicates a space character, so every time you press the space bar, one of those dots will be added. So I'll go back to the toolbar and click that same button, and that will remove those paragraph markers. I can carry on now and complete that second paragraph. And there's my second paragraph created, and now I'm going to create a list of items below this paragraph. So I'll press the enter key once, and again to create that space. And the first item is a new video projector, and I'm going to press the enter key, and I'm going to carry on and enter the remaining items in the list. And there's my completed list. Again, I'll press the enter key once, and again to create the space between the list and the next paragraph. And now I'm going to add my final paragraph. Okay, so there's my main text for the document. I'm going to press the enter key again, one more time. And you notice there that as I press the enter key, the document automatically scrolls down as well. So my closing line here is thank you. Press the enter key again, one more time, and finally type the name of the business owner. There's my completed document, and before I do anything else I'm going to save the document so I don't lose any of my work. And there's a few ways I can do that. I can go to the File menu and choose Save or Save As, or if I press the Escape key to cancel that, I can also use the keyboard shortcut Ctrl and S. And that brings up the Save dialog box. And Microsoft Word has already put in a suggested file name, as you can see, Fred's Movie Classics, and it's getting that suggestion from the first line of the document. If you didn't want the suggested file name, you can of course simply press the delete button and type in your own file name. I'm going to use this, but I'm also going to add a piece at the end. So if I click at the end of the word classics, I'll just type the word report. In the file location, you can see that it's currently being saved in the tutorial folder. If I want to change the location, simply click on the little double arrow there at the end, and I can choose another option such as an iCloud drive or the desktop, for example, or my documents folder. Just for now, I'll press the escape key. I'll leave the current location, which in most cases will be fine, and you can always relocate the file later on should you need to do that. The other thing to be aware of is the file format. Now the standard document format for a 2016 Word document is a docx, as you can see there. If you're sharing this document with someone who has an older version of Word, you may find it preferable to save in the older file format. And if I click on the double arrow there again at the end, you can see there the very first option is Word 97 to 2004, which is the .doc format. Again, I won't do that here, but that is an option should you be sharing your documents with people who have older versions of the program. So again, I'll just press the escape key and I'll just click on the save button to complete that save. And one thing to observe is if you look at the Microsoft Word title bar, the blue bar at the top, you'll see the file name appears there. And finally, for this tutorial, I'm just going to go through a few of the common navigation options that you have for moving around in a document. If you need to get back to the beginning of the document from anywhere, you can use the keyboard shortcut Alt and Home, and that will take you back there. As you see the cursor now flashing at the beginning of line 1. If you want to go to the end of the document, you type the keyboard shortcut Alt and End, and that will jump the cursor, as you see there, back to the end of the document. You can also use simple page up and page down buttons. So page up, if I press that, you'll see that it scrolls the document up, and you can also see the cursor flashing there that's actually in the third paragraph of the document. If I press the page up key again, you'll see the cursor there jumps to the top of the document. And if I now press the page down key, you'll see that the page scrolls to the bottom of the document, and also the cursor jumps to the end of the document as well. And if you look over on the right side of the Microsoft Word window, you'll find the vertical scroll bar. And as you see there, if I put the mouse over, it becomes highlighted, and you can then click and drag up or down depending on where you want to scroll in the document. And I'll just use the Alt and Home key again to go back to the start of the document. And you can also obviously just use the arrow keys on the keyboard, so by just moving the arrow keys down, right and left, you can move the cursor to any particular point. You can also use keyboard combinations with the arrow keys. So if I now press the keyboard combination Alt and down arrow, what's happening there basically is every time I press the down arrow, Word jumps to the next paragraph marker. So here it's going line by line. If I press it again, it'll jump to the space, then the beginning of the next paragraph, then again it'll jump to the end of that paragraph. You can also use a keyboard shortcut with the left and right arrow keys to move quickly through a paragraph. So if I just put the cursor at the beginning of that paragraph there and hold down the Alt key and press the right arrow key, what you'll observe there is the cursor jumping to the beginning of each word as I press the arrow key. And obviously if I do the same thing with the left arrow key, it will move the cursor to the left. So finally, once more, I'll just press Alt and Home to jump to the beginning. And before I go, I just want to show you the zoom options as well on the document if you want your page to appear larger on the screen. If you come down to the lower right side of the Word window, you'll see the zoom options there. You have a drag button here that you can drag left and right to zoom in or zoom out. You can also click the value here at the moment set to 111%. If I click on that, you'll see a number of different options from 200 down to 75 as default settings, or you can type in any number that you want here. I'm going to leave mine set at 150%, but obviously you choose whatever you find most comfortable. When you set the value here, you simply click OK, and the document will be zoomed to that level. So you've seen there how to create a new document and the basics of entering text, and of course saving the document as well. Very important thing to keep in mind. But in the meantime, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.